They doing what they can. It's still capitalist over here.
Mm-hmm.
So money over everything.
Money over everything.
Child. So yeah. All right.
That's the American motto. Cold open. Drop my theme music.
We really got to get us some theme music. Work on that. I'm gonna put that on my list of goals to get theme music for the GPP. Maybe season 3. Y'all stick around.
Happy New Year, fam, and welcome back to another week of the Good Black Podcast. If you've been waiting on the perfect gift, well, here we are. So let's go ahead and get into the catch-up. So what's been good with you, Gant?
Yeah, life is up and down as always.
Yes.
So, I have big sad energy today. I don't, I can't quite track it, but it's just, I've just been sad today. It's not even anything crazy going on. I've just been having a little sad energy, but I'm excited to be recording again.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm excited to be back in this space. So, when life is down, you waiting on the up, and when it's up, you're enjoying the moment. So I'm trying to stay in the moment, and, I'm not. Nothing crazy is going on.
Is it because it's the top of the year and you feel the existential dread?
Oh, maybe that's. Actually, you might be on to something.
Yeah, sometimes that happens.
Yeah, I went through some bills earlier today and was like, I don't know. I don't know what's happening. I don't know. So,
yeah, I choose to ignore bills around this time of the year. Because bills make me sad.
But you know what? All is well. I could be in much worse situations. I'm very grateful for the life that I have and the ability to kind of refocus and recenter myself. And I have a partner who can kind of, help get me back on track when, life is going crazy. So, and I'm married now.
I was going to say a partner. No, you got a wife.
I do got a wife.
Whole wife.
I do got a wife. So, it's just about let me see what my wife say season. So my freaking ring, side story, my ring is a little bit too big. And just a little bit. In a couple of weeks, maybe like a week or two ago, it was freezing here in Atlanta. And so my, your extremities kind of shrink just a little bit. So it's like even more so like a little bit loose. Went to throw my trash away. The ring went with it. Ring went right along with it. But it was just like it just threw out to the ground. So I just had to get out and get it. But terrified. Yeah. Terrified. You told me somebody was scared. My ring is insured, thank goodness, but
you need to get one of those little things that you can put on your ring to like take up some of this, a little bit of the space.
A little bit of the gap.
Get it resized. Yeah.
I just don't want to pay to get it resized. I'm cheap. I'm sorry.
I mean, so that's what I'm saying. By the thing to prolong you need to get it resized eventually.
I do need to get it. I will. I'll get it resized, but because I can't stand to lose it. So now I just don't. I've been kind of sparing with wearing it. Like I'll wear it like around my family, like something. But I try to kind of. And I had she bought me a silicone one as well.
Oh yeah.
With it, I just don't know where it went. So
that's not helpful to you.
No, I don't know.
Or
where
to these hoes out here.
I'm like, ain't nobody looking at me, girl. Like, I look like somebody's uncle. I am somebody's uncle. But.
See, you somebody's husband. You've been bagged and tagged. You better wear that ring.
Not bagged and tagged. So yes, but overall life is good. It's just we having a little down day, but it's all good. All is well.
Yeah. Okay.
Yes. What about you? How is life? How are things? How's the new year? Haven't seen you since last year. It's been crazy.
I haven't seen you since last year.
You got to throw one of those in.
Life has been good. I enjoyed the holidays. I also turned 35. I'm a whole real adult. It's so lit, and my knees hurt a little. It's exciting. It's exciting. But yeah, the holidays were pretty good. Got to spend time with family and just I don't know. It was a good season. I was also in a much different place this time around than I was last year around this time. So that was exciting to acknowledge and like be able to see that. But had a good time for the holidays, had a good birthday. What else has been going on? Hopefully I'll have some exciting new things coming up that I've been working on for the last few months. So I don't want to I don't want to announce anything just yet because I don't want to be embarrassed in case it doesn't go through. But you
Appropriate.
do,
You know.
But I'm excited for what this new year has to bring. I'm not going to say 2023 is my year. I'm not going to jinx myself like that. But I've got some stuff in the works. I've got some plans on the books. Instead of goals, I have like declarative or affirmative statements. Like I am
Nice.
going to do these things,
Love that.
rather than like it would be nice if I did these things. So
Love that.
yeah, I'm excited to see how 2023 unfolds. And the fact that, we're already a couple days in, this year is about to fly by. It's about to fly by.
You think so? You know
Yes,
what?
because it's already happening.
People
It's
said
already
that about
happening.
last year, but I didn't feel that way. I felt like
I
last
felt
year
it.
kind of cruised for me. Like,
I felt it, and I'm glad it did just because of where I was at in life.
makes sense.
I don't like to sit in heartbreak for too long. It makes me uncomfortable.
That's who wouldn't I do that for?
Why would I do that to myself? So yeah,
Yeah.
last year flew by, but I also had a good time last year on purpose.
Mm-hmm.
I was very intentional about like keeping
Absolutely.
my spirits lifted. But yeah, I
Yeah.
mean, it's been good. And so now I'm reeling after the fact of like all the holiday spending and all the new stuff I got and all the last minute deaths of celebrities. It's been,
It's been. I guess it
mm-mm.
always kind of is though. If you think back,
It's,
like over like towards the turn of the year, like it's always kind
yeah,
of yeah.
but
I feel like that
still,
used to be like a communal thing in the past, though. Like in your neighborhood or in your town, like it'd be like, oh,
hmm
several people pass like during the holidays, but now it seems like it's more celebrity thing than
yeah,
that's sad. So
sad.
much positivity to the people experiencing grief in
Yes,
this time
yes,
because
yes.
it's not great.
It's not great. It's hard. Continue to care for yourself. Find ways to just make space for gratitude and your own healing and your grief,
Mm-hmm.
because that's important. But yeah. Oh, and well, I guess I can say this. I have no clue if they listen to this podcast or not. Hopefully they do. But I had a doula family, and I got to see them one last time before they moved to New York. Um,
Oh,
and so that was nice to spend time with them and just lots of laughter. We went to brunch, me and their postpartum doula, and then the two of them. And well, they've never seen me in real clothes before, so that was new for them.
they're
I'm a
like,
snack. Hey. Um, but so I brought that up one because I mean I'm excited for other people in my life as well. Like new opportunities are popping up for them and new horizons and things like that. But also just the transitions of some relationships. And being excited and thankful for that. They started out as doula clients, and now I feel like we're in a space where I can call them friends. And I
nice.
love that. I love that for us, and I wish them well. Shout outs to you. You know who you are.
Nice, nice. All right. Well, that is the catch up for this week. So we can
Yes.
now slide over to the family feud.
Slide. Mm, mm.
Oh, 90s dances. You never go out of style. We won't do them in public,
Or,
but
well, shoot, if you made a TikTok go viral and call it something else, these children will do it.
we'll steal it right from up under you. They
Yeah.
will act like Quad City DJs never existed.
Wild.
They don't know.
Wild.
They don't know.
They don't
They don't
know
know. They
because their
don't.
parents aren't teaching them.
And that is their fault. I had a really great idea for a post, and I might save it.
Mm,
I won't say it
okay.
out loud. I'll tell you after we're done recording, but because it's so good. Okay.
Okay.
All right. All right. So moving into the family feud for this week. So the family feud, if you are new here, is our segment where we talk about the real topics of adulting while Black, from home to work, personal relationships, growing up, and of course, family. So this week we are discussing generational messaging. So
Ooh.
Spicy. So we grow up getting all sorts of ideas and thoughts about how life should be based on the generation of our parents and those even older than them. But as our current generation is now finding out, not all of the messaging from the people before us truly makes sense or translates to right now. So, what are some things that you have learned from the elders that you want to talk about today, Jake?
So the first thing I definitely want to make sure we touch on is this concept of struggle love.
Mm,
And I know it's been big on social media, especially the last couple years. And
yeah.
like, what is struggle love? It is where you are fighting so hard to be in relationship with someone else. And so you could be fighting them or you could be fighting others. It's just this constant, and I'm not saying it's physical fighting, but it's this emotional and mental toil of trying to be in relationship with someone and all of the trials and tribulations and those outweighing the positives or the benefits of being in relationship with this person. And so yeah, struggle love is something that we definitely have to touch on as far as generational messaging. If
Yeah.
I have to see one more person, particularly a man or cis, or not even cis, a male identifying person on social media say, "Man, y'all ain't real. I remember my grandfather and my grandmother stayed
Oh,
together for years and she used to hold him down in her moo or whatever." I don't, okay, he used to step on her and she stayed around. I'm sorry to that lady. I am sorry to that lady. And
I'm
if
sorry
things
to
had
that
been
lady.
different, and if
Yes.
things had been different in the society that she was married in, I don't know if she would have stayed with your granddaddy. She would have packed her moo and them kids up and gone elsewhere.
Right.
Driven off into the sunset, most likely.
Right.
Um, but they use especially the concept of the grandparents that stayed together throughout everything and
Mm-hmm.
everything that can be thrown at a relationship his grandmother went through, and you
Right.
are being lazy or you're not supportive because you don't want to do the same thing. No. And that's why that lady tired now. No, thank you.
Tired and
No, thank
helpless
you.
without help
Tired and helpless. And
because
telling
she
y'all to
got
get
a
off her
smart
porch.
grandkids.
Right.
Yes, she old and crotchety
So,
now because she was supposed to be crotchety with her husband, but
exactly.
now here we are, grandkids getting it, getting
Right.
all the
So,
attitude.
the struggle love, I will say, keeps people in relationships or situations much longer
Right.
than they need to be because you are guilting or shaming people into staying or making them question themselves for wanting to leave because they don't want to struggle. Like, love should not be that hard. And if you think I have to go through some stuff to prove to you that I love you or that I want to be with you, no, thank you. I finished taking tests once I graduated with my MPH. I'm good. I'm
Period.
good.
Oh.
I'm good. I'm good. I'm good.
I ain't taking no more tests. Ain't no scantrons over here. Whatever.
Hmm.
Listen, whatever you got to offer, it better look good before we get to a test. By
Okay.
the time we come to a test, well, we have to have earned it. So have you.
I just I shouldn't have to prove my worth. I shouldn't have to earn your love. Not in that.
Yeah.
I shouldn't have to earn your love.
Right.
Um and yeah, it the concept of struggle love, or you have to go through something in order to know that what you have is worthwhile, or that's worth holding on to, or you have to go through a bunch of things to get to the sweeter other side. Nah,
Yeah.
fam.
Yeah.
That's what kept me in my relationship because I was looking at other long termers who, yeah, they went through some stuff. And yeah, it changed who they were as people and they are on the other side of things, but it also came with a lot of work that they both did as individuals. It's not
Right.
like, one person is sitting here struggling, begging, pleading
Right.
why, and then the other person's not
Right.
doing anything. But
Absolutely.
looking at those types of examples of, what I would consider struggle love that happen to pan out, they are the exception, not the
Not
rule,
the rule.
is what kept me in situations, like I said, including my marriage, for much longer than I needed to be. Because I'm like, oh, well, they did it. So that means my my reward is on the other side of something. I don't like to play guessing games like that. I don't.
Mm,
And I only have this one life.
yeah.
Mm-mm. Anyway, child, I could go
Mm,
on and on about struggle love. What you got
yeah.
for that one?
I mean, it's true. Like, I think, excuse me, as somebody who has, who is in a long term relationship, and obviously continue to be, be in that relationship, being married now. Um, I mean, yeah, I mean, like, there's truth to the general concept that relationships require work, right? There's truth to that, but the work can't be you getting to beat me upside my head, and I have to bandage my wounds and and soldier through. Like, that can't be the work. The work has to be on both of us to do to sustain our
Mm-hmm.
relationship, and so both parties who are who are involved in this relationship, both of you have to be doing work. You know what I'm saying? It's like, and you're going to experience pain. Your partner's going to hurt you. They might hurt your feelings.
Absolutely.
They're going to say something,
Absolutely. Yep.
like you're going to have
Because we're
those
human
experiences.
and we are imperfect. Like, yes,
Absolutely.
absolutely.
That's the kind of pain that comes in a healthy relationship. Is like, we do stuff to to hurt each other, to bother each other, or to frustrate each other, whatever the case might be, but not cheating. That's like cheating. We're not doing that. Not you not protecting me around the people, the people from
Mm-hmm.
whom I might need to be shielded. Not you neglecting me emotionally, right? And that's
Mm-hmm.
on both, and for those who subscribe to, like, to heteronormative relationships, that is for both, male identifying people and female identifying people. The men in your As a man in your relationship, you should be able to express your emotions to your partner no matter who they are,
Yep.
and be able to explain to them why they cause the harm, why they hurt you, whatever the feelings are, have that validated, and vice versa. You have to
Mm-hmm.
be able to give that back to your partner just as much as you are expecting for all the understanding. And that is the problem with situations like what Jay just described. The problem with a situation of you getting to do whatever you want to me, and
Mm-hmm.
then you just get to continue getting the love, you can continue getting the showers, you still get all of the good stuff that comes with being in a relationship with me, but I'm just
Mm-hmm.
supposed to just be here.
Be
That's it.
here. Yep.
In order to give you the love that you are expecting. But you haven't done anything to keep me in that space. You haven't done anything to keep me in a space of being able to give you love. You haven't done anything to help me feel safe. You haven't done anything to help me actually feel like my love has been replenished within me,
Yep.
for me to be able to continue to give that back to you. So it's like, that's unhealthy, number one.
Mm-hmm.
And number two, it's not aspirational.
Mm-mm.
People are like, we've been married 50 years. How long of them were you happy? Like, let's get into it. And I understand that there's gonna be times, and there's gonna be moments where it's not always like peaches and cream. It's not always
Right.
perfect, and you're not
Right.
always like googly eyed, right?
And it's unrealistic to think that.
Right. But that's the dream that they try to sell you, that once you
Yeah.
get to 50 years, it's like, oh, it's just been great. And it's like, no, it ain't been great it
Mm-mm.
ain't been great all of those years. There's going to be times, because you are committing. This is one thing that I said once I decided to propose to my wife, now wife. I was like, I for me, it just had an understanding of, like, I have to be committed to all of the versions of her that she is going to be.
Yes.
And so there's going to be times where she is insufferable. There are going to be times where she is extremely loving and affectionate and tenderhearted and sweet. There's going to be times where she's sick and she's not well. There's going to be times where she's
Mm-hmm.
in grief and she's not able to give me in these moments
Mm-hmm.
exactly what I need. But I'm going to have to be committed to
Yep.
her, to this woman, in
Yep.
all of the versions that she's going to show up as. And I'm expecting the same in return. That she got to be committed to me too,
Mm-hmm.
but not um what is the word I'm looking for? Not unconditionally. Because
Mm.
there's still conditions on
Mm.
how you get to show up with me when you're
Mm-hmm.
not your best self.
Yeah.
Right? Because you can't show up and start abusing me or neglecting me because
Right.
you're in a bad place. We
Right.
There's a boundary, And I
Mm-hmm.
had this conversation with one of my brother-in-laws, that I'm like, I'm very clear on the fact that there's something I can do to make my wife lose trust in me, and lose connection to me. I'm very clear
Mm-hmm.
on that. And I think that it doesn't have to it doesn't have to be a source of fear or a source of anxiety, but it needs to be a portion of your reality that I can't do whatever I want to do to this person, and they're just always going to be there.
Right. The relationship violations are a thing. Yeah. Whatever the relationship violation is for you and your significant other, it's a thing. And if you are constantly trotting that out, if you're constantly basically enacting all of these violations against your partner, against your relationship, that is struggle love. Because at that point, you're making an active choice over and over again to drag them through this and everything
and
that
it's violence.
Comes with. And you just expect them to be there. No,
absolutely.
Good.
And it's violence at the end of the day. Like oh man, that was such a, I don't want to say freeing, but like that was such a like mind blowing thing to really conceptualize violence as more than physical harm. Because I'm like, no, like when you are maybe not intentionally, but you know, you grown. So presumably these people we're talking about, you know, you are grown. Like when you are intentionally, even unintentionally causing harm to your partner and they bring it to your attention and you don't change the behavior, you are violent. And you need to look into that. Like, do you actually care about this person? Could you actually love this person and also be violent towards them? Like, there's no way. Like, now there's some stuff that requires adjustment. Like, you know, I'm not as clean in the bathroom as my wife would like, but I have to adjust that. I know that that's a thing for her, especially when it comes around time of, you know, her cycle and, you know, and et cetera. It's like, no, I need this space to be pristine because I'm being here a lot. So like there's a shift, there's an adjustment that has to happen there. That's a different thing from me telling you like, oh, you know, when we go to your family for the holidays, like your mom is not very nice to me, so I need to feel defended, right? And you just choose not to do that. That's different.
Right.
We have you violating, you know, the agreement and the expectation of our relationship and of our love. So like you can't continuously violate your partner's boundaries. And I said that in my vows. Like I was like, I will protect you from anything that could potentially cause you harm, including me. So if I'm not feeling my best, I'm not gonna come and give that to you right now. Let me take a minute. Let me step away. But that's something that I have to commit to myself of being the best version of myself. So yeah, we not here for the struggle of, you know, like that, you know, that is something. And I will also posit that even though men say these things a lot, women do too. Women do too. And older Black women do too. Like, yeah, he's a good man, Savannah.
A good man.
Like,
okay.
Is it? Yeah, like, so, you know, also like, you know, as you know, we love the topic of unlearning over here at the Good Black Podcast. So it's not to say that, you know, that you're a horrible person. I think so many people are afraid to confront bad behavior or bad learned living strategies because they are afraid to be deemed a bad person. It's like, it doesn't make you a bad person, but you have learned something that is not positive and that's not helpful to you. So now let's dial it back. Let's unlearn that. Let's peel back the layers on that. And as you get through it, hopefully with enough critical thought, as you get through that, you will be able to say, oh, okay, this was not healthy for me. This was not helpful to me. And so I can do without it. So yeah.
Like that might need to be its own episode in the future.
Yeah, very much. You know, we always discover that. I don't know. Mid-conversation.
I think in writing the outline for season 3, I might have put some stuff in there about relationships. We'll get back to it. What's the next one, Gant?
All right.
What's another generational message that we need to discuss and possibly chuck deuces on?
Oh yeah, absolutely. So this next one is a big one for me. Like personally, like I hate it. It grinds my gears. Respectability and like ways of doing and being right.
Yeah.
I just think it's such a whack thing that, specifically Black people, we always gonna talk about stuff from the Black experience because it's a Black show.
Because I'm Black, yes.
I am Black, and that's what I know. So yeah, like I just think respectability is such a trash trash thing. And I mentioned this on the episode a couple of episodes back. Like, if you have to perform yourself in a certain way to make people respect you, they never intended on respecting you in the first place.
Yep.
I just have to get back to that because it is so whack. And there are so many people who have internalized that and potentially turned it into something either productive or lucrative. Yes.
A job. Yes.
Yes, absolutely. I mean, and I guess we all do to a certain degree.
Now, some people have built brands around this.
Absolutely. Some people have absolutely built brands and live a lifestyle based off of their ability to perform respectability to people. I think that is super whack. I'm not going in no space where I'm not going to be respected, whether, like based off of what I have on, because for me, I can send a bomb nicely worded email to you in sweatpants. And so if I'm able to do that, what is the difference? Why is it the way that you see me has to change in order for you to decide whether or not I'm worthy of respect? Yep. And, and also giving me my just due when it comes to what I bring to the table when I walk in the door. So I just think it's such a whack thing. And it comes in so many different forms. And especially with Black people, we will do it. We will do it with the white gaze in mind, absolutely. But we also do it to one another in our spaces. So, for example, there was this conversation. Yep. We do it. We self-included, right? Self-included. Excuse me, but there was this example that, came out, a conversation that was sparked, I think on Twitter, a couple of months ago, maybe, about HBCUs and people saying like, showing up in an HBCU is just like it's a fashion show. Like, you come in because you have to be seen in the best and the latest, and your hair got to be pressed just the right way, or even a certain way to have your natural hair that is acceptable and that's good.
That's texturism.
Air quote. Yeah,
respectability politics got all the isms.
All the isms. Yes. Colorism, texturism, featureism, all of that stuff is all in it. And
elitism.
Yes. And it all comes, yes, absolutely. And it all comes under that umbrella. And it's not to say that you can't take pride in your appearance. It's not to say that you can't want to show up in the world a certain way, but you need to be honest about why you're showing up that way and what you do to yourself when you don't show up in the way that you feel like is appropriate to other people, because that is coming from a root cause, and that is white supremacy. Like, once you drill down enough, once you ask yourself enough questions about that, you will find that a lot of behaviors that we act out comes from a root of white supremacy. So respectability to me is just like, it's a trash thing, and it's a trash thing to ask other people to like subscribe to in order to attain worthiness.
Yes.
It's crazy to me. Yes, but I'm sorry. Yeah. So your thoughts on this one? I ranted.
I mean, no, that's fine. You said, I think, everything that I would say. I just have a personal story because, that's what I do. This came up when I made the decision to lock my hair. So for folks who do not know or have not seen me on the interwebs, I have beautiful, beautiful locks. They are down my back. Didn't start out like that though. started from the bottom. And now I'm here. But yeah, the decision to lock my hair, I was really excited. Like, I took months to research, and like, I was living in Peru at the time, but I took months to research and like do as much like looking up styles and watching people start locks and, all these other things, and maintenance and products and everything else. Did all the research I could because I wanted to be thorough and I wanted to get it right. And one of the biggest things was, will you be able to get a job if your hair is like that? What does that have to do with what I'm able to accomplish? What does that have to do with what I'm able to produce? If you are so worried about what is on top of my head that you cannot see the brilliance that is rattling around in this skull, that's not where I need to be. That's not where I need to be.
Yeah.
But also, this is just one way that I'm expressing my heritage, my culture. This is a way that I'm able to take care of myself, and make sure that I still have hair by the time I leave Peru. Like, because I've been a loose natural my entire life. And even that, and we talked about the texturism, I mean, I've always been told that I have good hair. What does that even mean?
Mm.
Whole dissertations have been written about it, but I
Yep.
digress. But one
Yep.
of the things, even when I was a loose natural, is, are you really going to go outside looking like that? Your hair doesn't look done. What are you talking about? This is how my hair grows from my head. And it's not acceptable. It's not professional.
Yeah.
No, that
Yeah.
can't be right.
Yeah.
And now when I have it in a permanent style, you're still concerned that I can't get a job? Which one is it? Which
Yeah.
one is it?
Yeah.
And I will say that because of that concern, a seed was planted, and I said, you know what? I need to make sure that I am a certain type of locked.
Mm.
I'm a certain type of locked. So
Elaborate.
people, you might see folks with free-form locks, or they might be
Mm-hmm.
fuzzier. When I first
Mm-hmm.
locked my hair, I was all about maintenance. No fuzz. It'll always be styled. It'll always look like quote unquote something. Um
And we know what that is, which is what's
you know what
crazy.
that is.
Yeah.
Um but yeah, like I my locks are parted and they are a specific size, and so even even with like staring down the face of this concern, which is wrapped up in respectability politics, it still, had an impact on like the final outcome. So yes, I still
Right.
have locks, but it did impact the final outcome. Like, it's just, and it
Yeah.
respectability can be insidious.
Right. As as is white supremacy.
Hmm.
That's the, oh my gosh, like I've heard this about, like, in like Christian circles, is like the best dang, I think it's the best
Part of
lie that,
waking up is, oh, go ahead.
no, that wasn't it, that was Folgers.
Folgers, and you cut.
No, I think it's like the best lie that the devil ever told was to convince people that he's not real. I feel like it's the same. Well,
Mm-hmm.
it's the same thing with white supremacy. It's like the best part of it is that convinces you that it's not real, or that other
Yeah.
people try to convince you that this is not really what it is. It's just because
Mm-hmm.
we want you to look nice, and it's like,
Right. You
why?
represent the company or you represent the
Right.
family.
Right.
Okay.
And that's the way that so many people have been able to keep these antiquated views and, ways of
Mm-hmm.
thinking alive, is by feigning it as concern for the company. But it's like, no, you're uncomfortable, Karen. You're
Yeah.
uncomfortable.
You're
And I don't know
uncomfortable.
why you're
Yeah.
uncomfortable with what grows out of my head, because I ain't saying nothing about the strings on yours.
Right.
But, it's like, and again, the biggest problem that I feel like with it, that exists with white supremacy, is that we do it to each other. It's
Yeah.
like we're not aware of the ways in which it has really crept in, and it's in bed with its creepy sister capitalism. So it's like
Mm-hmm.
they both tie into each other, and they keep you basically bound. Like, they are like inextricably linked, in our inability to really see those things for what they are, call them out, unlearn the behaviors and the ways that we do it, because even as much, you will never learn enough to be able to avoid falling into the, like, to the traps
Right.
of, both of those schools of thought. Excuse me. So that nobody's perfect, but it's something that we intentionally have to work to deconstruct.
And what I will say before we switch topics is, I don't know if we've made this acknowledgement before, but I do want to acknowledge the fact that we understand that a lot of the respectability politics that are in the Black community were born from survival,
Right. Right.
um, and safety measures.
Right.
I get it.
Yeah.
And we are slowly but surely evolving to a point, or at least forcefully demanding that we as a
Hmm.
society evolve to a point where we don't have to live like that.
Right.
Or, and I'm not even going to sit here and be super idealistic, like we might see this in our lifetime. Like, I would love to be released of the shackles.
Yeah.
And change takes time. Change
Yeah.
takes time. Um, and within the community, it'll take time, but also with folks outside of the community looking in, looking at us, still in charge of the majority, in charge of making these laws, because, systems are rigged and things like that.
Mm-hmm.
The folks who are doling out the punishments are still setting these rules and kind of like mailing us little. It's getting back to the community so that we can police ourselves on their behalf.
Right. Right.
So we're not, like I said, it was born out of trying to survive. We are slowly evolving, and the larger society around us, like I would be remiss to sit here and act like there aren't consequences that people are still doling out
Right.
because of these things.
Right.
Like it would be irresponsible to sit here and act like that isn't the case.
Absolutely.
With, the list of names that continues to grow from state-sanctioned violence because of these things.
Mm-hmm.
So I would love to see a world where, like I said, we are released from these shackles and we don't have to play into respectability politics, and aren't seeing people police other folks. And we are still very much in a place where we have proof on Twitter and on the news where it's these things that play.
Yeah.
So
absolutely. And heavy. And just to double back to an example from our last like little, section, violence is not always physical. Mm-hmm. So you going into a workplace and not feeling safe to share your ideas or to respond to emails or to, to have your, have culture, in your space, that is violence as well. So just examine that and don't gaslight yourself into thinking that it's not real. Like, maybe I'm making too much of it. No, you're not. No, you're not.
You're not.
When you feel it, you know what it is. And that doesn't mean that you have to get up and protest and light your desk on fire or whatever. But it does mean that you need to be aware of the space. And also what responsibility do we have to one another to like make sure that our peers know, like, because when people come into an organization, I don't lie. If you coming in and you asking me questions or you want to know something about, about the space as it relates to race or as it relates to, potentially gender, I'm going to tell you the truth.
Yeah.
I don't lie to my people, especially not my people. I don't lie to my people. Tell each other the truth. Be honest about it. Even if somebody's telling you an experience that you haven't had, validate it. Mm-hmm. Validate it and let your fellow, your fellow people know, listen, I haven't experienced that, but I got your back. Whatever you say, I'm with you. You know what I'm saying? And all skin folk ain't kinfolk, so we understand that.
Yeah.
And part of that is because of respectability.
Yeah.
So, unlearn it, do your part in unlearning it, also helping other people navigate difficult spaces, violent spaces. As we still have to exist, we still got to be here until, until the good Lord call us home. We still got to be here and we still got to be in these spaces, but like, let's protect each other. Let's look out for each other the best way we can. And sometimes that's unlearning things that are harmful to you and others. Mm-hmm. So, all right, next topic, because we'll be talking all day.
My next one is the generational message is that women should wear pantyhose. First of all, no thank you. Okay. Second of all, in this current day and age, yes, I do wear stockings, but it's more of like an accessory. It adds to the outfit. Back in the day, I feel like them joints were weaponized against me. It was torture to be stuffed into those things for hours on end. And then if I'm not wearing stockings, y'all will call me fast. What?
Not fast.
What? Right. So if I'm not, I just, I mean, this is a short one, possibly a funny one, but if you in them stockings.
Oh, well, Barbara Jean.
Yeah.
Now you know. I ain't wearing no stockings.
I ain't wearing no stockings. Well, now they got the nice patterns and colors and everything. We used to have the solid white, solid black, solid brown. I don't want to wear those.
And it wasn't even
like not cute with my Easter outfit.
It wasn't even a whole bunch of options either. It's just, that's what they had. It wasn't like no shades like Rihanna got out here. I don't know if Rihanna sells stockings, but you know.
Not yet.
So they ain't have all of that. You had brown, dark brown, white, and black.
Right. I just
Oh gosh.
That grinds my gears. Well, not that I get funny looks now, but because I'm a part of a Black Greek letter organization, dress code rules includes pantyhose. If y'all don't go somewhere with that, if y'all don't go somewhere with that,
do you get like a flesh tone, or they got to be white?
It depends on the event.
Okay.
Yes, we have different dress codes for different things.
Wow, that's unfortunate.
And so that prompts me to wear pants, so I don't have to worry about no darn pantyhose.
There we go. And now everybody's happy.
But why is this in here? Why is this in here?
Do they check? Have you ever like had an experience of like somebody being like,
I haven't, because I've been smart about it, but I can't get into it too much, but they are supposed to have people who enforce the dress codes. Ooh. I don't know if chapters, I mean, I feel like the older chapters might get on people about that, but you don't go somewhere.
So it like national or
I'm not going to get into all that.
Okay.
I'm not going to get into all that.
All right.
But
all right. Well, we don't want you. We don't go no revocations.
No bearing on my sisterhood, so I don't understand why we got pantyhose in this thing. But no, I feel like in more recent years they've been a little more lax. But the older sisters will look at you. But that's because they're the grandmas.
Yeah, they somebody's church mother as well.
Mm-hmm. That's true.
Yeah. That makes me think of
just because I got my calves out don't mean I can't praise the Lord.
Come on.
Or serve my community.
He made the calf. He know what it looked like.
He made the calves. Exactly. Perfectly and wonderfully made. Each of them.
Here we go. Each one. I can't.
Each one.
Well, no notes for the pantyhose. Yeah, I don't know. All right. So next subject we want to talk about is, which the church mothers would also be upset about, shacking up.
Oh yes.
Yeah, you in there living in sin.
Living in sin, and it's fun.
Not as fun. Living in sin. Well, I mean, listen, as one who has shacked. But I shacked with my long-term partner, and that's my wife now. So does it even matter? I don't know. I don't know what the church mothers would say. But shacking helped me. I mean, I figured out that she was crazy. So now
and
I knew.
Married her anyway.
So
you knew you knew what you were getting into.
I knew it. The people so we live in an apartment building, right? We don't wear shoes in the house, which is her. That's one of her things. She's very clean, just super anal. So we have people who occasionally have to come and fix stuff, and in the apartment or whatever. We have stopped them at the door. Listen, can you put these on your put a bag on your shoe? That's fine. I put a bag on you. You can take them off. I'm fine with you walking in with no socks on, but you're not finna walk in here with all the other rooms you done walked in, carrying in whatever it is that come from there. And can you also put on a mask? Thank you so much. While you're here. And I don't think that's unreasonable now that I have lived with her. I don't think that's unreasonable.
Not unreasonable at all.
I think 6 years ago I might have thought that though.
Oh, well.
I would have felt that way. I'd have been like,
it's different people.
It's a lot. It's giving a lot. But Jay, how we.
I don't know where them feet been. I don't know where them feet been.
I get it now.
Cover them things up.
Yeah, and outside clothes too. That's the thing. I grew up in the South. I'm a man. Like the shoes go where they go. If I get tired and sit on this bed in the same jeans that I wore to Walmart, it is what it is.
Don't get too comfortable on the outside clothes on the bed.
Well, I did that before I met her. And see, shacking helped me get used to it and incorporate it and be like, all right, now I understand.
Benefits to shacking.
It's benefits to shacking. See, now I wasn't surprised by that when we got married. I knew what time it was. So you know, shacking all right, you know, to me.
I mean,
What about you?
I've done it once.
Okay.
Yeah, and I've, played house like for a long weekend or a week with a couple other people. That's different. But
I,
I've definitely shacked up with somebody. Um, and
I think
so
we're
for
playing
me,
house. That's different.
well, yeah, because very much the honeymoon phase. You do not
Yeah.
get the real sense of the person.
No.
But no, like the one time I did shack up, it definitely solidified for me that one, I I like living with a significant other,
Mm-hmm.
not necessarily that person, but in general. Um, and I need a bigger house so that we can have our own separate spaces to just be.
Mm-hmm.
Because you're not gonna be up under me all day. That is what shacking up solidified for me. Um, and then just the level of intimacy like that you get with being with your person for several hours and like sharing spaces with them. The level of
Yeah.
intimacy is wild. Like you learn so much about a person and they are able to be more vulnerable and stuff comes up that you never even thought about, and you really do get to learn and see more of them in a way that you probably did not before the shacking started. But then
Yeah.
the other thing is, I don't know if you've ever heard the cow analogy, like why would he buy the cow when he can get the milk for free? I hate that. I hate
Why
that.
he
I'm
don't
not
the
a
one
cow.
buying the cow? Why he don't the one
I'm not
buying
a
the
cow.
cow?
But first, I'm not a cow, first of all. And if I was a cow, he was already getting the milk for free. So he might as
He
well move
just
in.
wasn't living with it.
He's just now living with the cow. I don't
Yeah,
like
because
if he wants to
also
marry me, he will marry me. If he doesn't, he doesn't.
right,
Um Living with someone before you're married, and I mean to each their own. Like I would not say everybody should live with their person before they get married, because
right,
that's not going to be good for everybody.
right,
To each their own. But I know for me, I think it's helpful so I really can see all of them and see if I want to move forward. Do
right.
you want to own the cow? Moo?
Yeah, I mean, yeah, like I mean, to me, I just don't subscribe to a lot of that stuff. Like, I just feel like, listen, I'm finna do what feel right in the moment. If it's wrong, the Lord
Mm-hmm.
will convict me, and then we're gonna move on from there.
Yeah.
But yeah, like it's just, you know what? Kevin Stage said this a couple of maybe probably a year or two ago, like on his show. But like there are so many things that we have learned, and shacking up is like really a church specific and Christian specific thing.
Yeah.
There are so many things that have been taught over the pulpit from somebody's personal experience and their lived experience that
Mm.
they have found in their experience to coincide with their faith and with the
Mm.
Bible in some way, shape, or form that they have then given out as fact. And
Mm-hmm.
it has now just become galvanized in this culture and in this space that is like, now it's just like, it's just accepted as gospel. Like cleanliness is next to godliness. That is not a scripture, but somebody felt it appropriate
Yeah.
to say like, oh, well, to be clean is to be like God. No, you just didn't like that your wife didn't clean up at home, or that you weren't as clean, or that your husband wasn't as clean as you wanted him to be, and so you did now adopted that and made that into something that is not.
Well, well.
So there's a lot of stuff that people have just like created, and that may have been their own stumbling blocks, may have been their own areas of difficulty, and made it something that is also faith based. And I'm not saying that shacking up is not in the Bible.
Yeah.
I ain't seen it, but I ain't saying it ain't. Lord, I just want to cover myself. But I'm just there's a lot of stuff that people have, like I said, just made to be something that that it doesn't necessarily have to be.
Yeah.
And I think as long as you are responsible, with the people with whom you choose to shack, don't be shacking with anybody. But
Yeah.
you
Like,
know,
don't indiscriminate shacking is not what we are
that's not
saying
what
to
we're
do.
advocating for, right?
Mm-mm.
Get you a spend a night bag and and call it a
Right.
weekend.
Well,
If
if
you
you need
really
help with
want
bills,
to
get you a roommate. Like, don't just live with anybody.
get into it, because rent is high.
Hmm.
Shoot, like rent is high. Get you a roommate like everybody else,
Yep.
and move on about your life. But yeah, it's So that's what I say. The generational messaging around that shacking up, I think is potentially one sided. I won't say it's completely wrong. I just think it's not. It's not the whole story.
Yeah.
So
I'd be interested in hearing some of our fam's thoughts on this. So, fam, if you're listening, not our actual family, fam, as in our audience, if you're
yes,
listening, write in, join the conversation. I want to hear your thoughts about shacking up specifically.
definitely do. I would love some audio notes. I would love some audio notes to play back in future episodes.
Y'all out here living in sin, talk about everybody should shack up. That's not what I said, Barbara Jean.
Not what I said. Listen.
What I said.
Unclog your ears. You've been with that man doing you wrong for too long, and this is what you're thinking. That's not what I said.
Can't hear because of the struggle, love. Can't hear because of the struggle, love.
Exactly. So, yeah. So, fam, yes. So, absolutely agree. Write into us, goodblackpodcast@gmail.com. Just GOODBLACK podcast@gmail.com. And let us know your thoughts or send us a voice note. We would love to hear that as well.
Yes.
All right. So last topic for this week. What is, you introduce it? Because I feel like I've been doing a lot of introductions.
Yeah. So the last one is just the messaging of you need to go to college in order to succeed. First of all, Eugenia Ann, when you went to college, it only cost 2 nickels and a penny. Like, some people are now in debt for basically the rest of their lives because of the decision to go to school at 17 or 18. Second of all, trade schools exist. They are an amazing option, and you can build an amazing life after going to a trade school, because that puts you into the workforce just that much faster, and you aren't going into debt like you would with some other pathway. And I'm not saying any of these things to be like, nobody should go to college, but like, not everybody needs to go to college, or not everybody needs to go to college right away.
Right.
So yeah, so that's the third thing. Like, not everybody is ready to go off to college when we are told it's time to go. And some people do need to take a beat, take a step, take a gap to figure it out first before they dedicate their time, energy, and money to a college or university program. College is not cheap.
For everybody. Yeah.
College is not cheap.
It is an expensive experiment.
It's an expensive experiment and experience.
Yeah. Absolutely.
And then my final thing is, like, what is your idea of success? What are you basing that off of? When you say success, or like you need to go to college to be successful in life, what does that mean for you? And does that person that you're talking to, or the general swath of people that you might be referring to, is that how they see success? Do they just want to be happy and be able to pay bills and go on trips on occasion? Because you can do that without going to a university. There are other pathways to the workforce, and they're all viable. They're all legitimate. Not everybody needs to go to college right away, or, like I said, at all, in order to be successful.
Yeah.
A lot of us are strapped down with student loans.
Yeah. And if not student loans, credit card debt.
Credit card debt. And I mean, people are making it do what it does. Yeah. But that is a burden that a lot of people are carrying around, because they were told in order to quote unquote make it, you need to go to college. I hear y'all. Once again, I will acknowledge that where we were at 20, 30 years ago, or even well before then, that was the pathway. That was a route, or a main route, or that was the bill of goods that was sold to us by the larger society. And, because we want our children to grow up and do well and be able to be self-sufficient, responsible citizens of this nation. Yeah. We sent them off to college, and people are in debt. People are in debt, and some people ain't even using their degrees.
A lot of people, they ain't using their degrees. So you're looking at one, because my undergraduate degree was communication and media studies. I use it in the stuff that is fun to me, but there was there was going to be a significant portion of time, like if I had really stayed in that field, where I would not have been making any money. And that's what I liked. I enjoyed it. I feel like, I gained so much knowledge from it, but it was not financially fruitful. That was something essentially that really could have been a trade. It was a lot of education.
Yeah, and that's the thing. Like, people go, I mean, I've seen it, people go get these degrees, and then sometimes they can't get jobs, so they're underemployed.
Yeah.
And that's no fault of their own.
Right.
But what are we supposed to do?
Yeah. And I think if our culture was different, like it would be a different experience. Like for me personally, especially as somebody who works in higher education, I have never, ever, ever been the type of professional to be like, oh, college is 100% for everybody. I just had a student quit this semester because he was like, what? On his way to like very smart, has like literally has like a 3.7 GPA or something like that. Very intelligent, very smart. One of my best staff members on my team. And he was like, you know what? I have seen a better way for me to make money. I have seen a better way for me to build a life for myself that I would feel more comfortable with and more confident in pursuing. So I'm going to go and do that. And I was like,
it's not trapping, is it?
No, it's not. It's not. It's not. I won't tell his business, but it's not trapping, and it's not anything. It's not anything nefarious or odd. But it is. That's funny.
It's like Gant out here encouraging the doughboys.
That's not what I'm doing. That is not what I'm doing. I believe in education, but I don't think that it is what people have sold it to us to be. And
that's go ahead. Yep.
And it's like, I think Whoopi Goldberg just said this recently. She was like, she was utilizing, like talking about education and calling it the great equalizer. But I'm like, it's not. Not for us. Not for us. And as soon as we started getting degrees, the table started shifting.
They changed the goalposts.
Yep, they moved.
They changed the goal line.
Every time, as soon as we start to exceed or excel, specifically Black women, they move the goalposts. It changes. But you also have to be kind, and you also have to be endearing. You also have to be pleasant, and you also have to be nice. And you also have to have a hairstyle that doesn't offend me. And you also can't show up in clothing that.
Right.
Like, it's all of that stuff changes. So that's why I don't believe in it in that way. I absolutely think that there are fields that require education and that require, collegiate schooling and all of those things. But what I don't like is the shaming that goes on with people who choose not to pursue college as a way of living their life. These traits, we need carpenters just as much as we need, just as much as we need lawyers, probably more. We need people who can, plumbers. Oof, the language just ran away from me.
There you go. Yes.
We need plumbers just as much as we need that. We need electricians just as much as we need doctors. We need all of these people in order to keep our world going. And these careers are falling out of favor. And what y'all are afraid of happening, which y'all are afraid of, especially the racist people in this country, y'all are afraid of other people coming into this country and stealing jobs, which I don't even want to get into that. Stealing jobs, but stealing work that you don't want to do, number one. Right. And number two, that you shame your children from pursuing. So which is it? Which is it, Karen? Like, y'all just, like, you're never happy, and the goalpost continues to move, and your lack of intelligence keeps you from being able to see what is right in front of you. And you just cannot see it because you are so committed to classism. You are so committed to racism. You are so committed to xenophobia that you can't see the spaces where you are stifling your own people, your own children, your own family from being able to pursue things that would actually give them a life that was promised to them via the American dream, which is now the people with some good sense can see was a lie, or at the very least, it was, it
wasn't for us.
It was never for us. I got to remember that we're talking to us. So,
yes, I remember my former partner. Past partner.
Someone I used to
know. We had a conversation about this, and I don't know. how other folks do it, but we would occasionally have conversations like hypotheticals. Oh, what if we had kids and they didn't want to go to college? Let's
Yeah.
talk about that. And so this was actually one of the conversations that we had, and we were on the same page. We're not about to force our kids to go to college. Like if that is not where their skills, talents, and abilities are going to really prosper or develop, we're not going to do that, because you're not about to waste my money.
Yeah.
Or put yourself into debt to prove something to other people.
To other.
So, you know, and that was a great conversation, but that is something that I would encourage other folks to engage with. Like, if you are seriously in a relationship with someone else, have these types of conversations so that you can, if you want to have kids, learn more about your parenting styles or expectations or your approach. Because this is a big one. Like, you don't want to get 14, 15 years down the road, and then one of you is like, oh yeah, you don't have to go to college, play in the dirt with me or whatever, I don't know. And then the other person is like, no, they're going to college. Like, these are important conversations, because you're talking about your future and your approach and seeing if you're compatible in that way as well. That's the only thing I wanted to put out there with that. But yeah, it was a good conversation. I'm glad we had it. We're not, we are not going to have kids because we're not together anymore, but it's a good, important conversation.
There's that.
It was, and now I'm able to talk about it on this podcast.
It was all anecdotal for the show. That's what it was really for.
God knew.
knew. I was going to do a bad rendition of God Did, but I'm going to keep it to myself. So, yeah. I just don't think college is for everybody. I'm not one of those people that'll tell you that. And I don't, and I also think that we have to really rework what our perspectives of success are. All right. So
I think
college ain't for everybody.
Yeah, and I think my last thing is also the path that you think, what am I trying to say? The same pathway to college is not for everyone. So I was having a discussion with someone within the last month or so about community college and like going there first and then transitioning or transferring. And I remember when I worked and lived out in Cali, like a lot of our students, that was the plan that they had. And it got to a point, not got to a point, but it was so embedded in their culture. Not their culture. It was so embedded in the culture as far as helping them transition from high school to a university. Like, first stop is a quote unquote junior college or community college, that for the students that did get into a 4-year university right off the bat, they actually did not know that you could just go straight there. So we had to then say, no, it's okay. Like, if you got in and you want to go, you can just go straight to a 4-year. They're like, oh, I thought you had to go to a community college first and then you would transfer. And so I that model worked really well for those particular students, because they did need some support transitioning, like I said, between high school and college. And then you're getting all of your general requirements, all your basic education stuff out of the way anyway, for much less. And, whatever other obligations that they had, as far as family, life stuff, it really supported them in that way. So yeah, that would be my last thing. Not only is college not for everyone, the straight to a 4-year school also isn't for everyone. So if you're interested in college, another pathway that you could consider looking into is community college first, dip your toe in, and then transitioning or transferring later on. Because that's another thing that people kind of look down on, like, oh, you went to a community college or that's where you started? Yes, absolutely. And it's okay. That is also a valid educational experience. So
yeah,
that's that.
Absolutely. So yeah, you just have to be open to seeing different ways of doing things in life. And I think they're in the past, again, in validation of where these old ideals come from. In the past, there were very limited avenues, but now there are so many ways to do the same thing or to achieve the same goal. So you got to be open. Got to be open, and really being able to see yourself building a life in a way that people were not ready for. So Yeah, obviously we could go on for probably days or hours more about these generational messages, but obviously we ain't got all day and all week for that.
Nope.
So we are going to close the family feud here, and then we will slide into the love letters next.
Yes.
After a message from our sponsors.
Welcome back, fam. And this is our love letter segment. So we always say if love is accountability, here's where we show our love by discussing matters that we need to address and grow from, because what doesn't get addressed gets amplified. So this is where we've landed after the feud, and this is how we're going to move forward and do better. Again, I will turn it over to you first. What is your love letter for this week?
All right, bet. So my love letter this week is to the quote unquote good blacks out there. So first things first, there's no way to be a good black to the people who think the only good black is a dead black.
That's not true, because I got a certificate in good blackery.
Well, whatever good blackery certificate you got, let's see how it works at a traffic stop. All right. So that being said, stop trying to appease the majority gaze, specifically the white gaze. Even when that gaze is applied to non-black, non-white people, it's still repackaged white supremacy. Be yourself, question everything, and come up with your own conclusions. Build a life for yourself that is based off of your own truths and realizations. Do not bow to this system. Show up whole. And as we said in season 1, let them choke. If you are that concerned about me breaking up myself and fragmenting myself into pieces that you are able to respect, then again, as I will always say, you never intended on respecting me in the first place, and I don't owe you the version of myself that is most convenient or most comfortable when it comes to me dialing down culture or, the truth of, like who I am, my core tenets and core beliefs. So love yourself enough to allow yourself to be free from the shackles of white supremacy and be you. So that's my love letter for this week. How is about you? That sounds right.
So my love letter this week is to the elders. This will be short, sweet, simple, quick. It's okay to learn from young people in your life and to evolve. And actually, not only is it okay, it is critical for you to learn from them and evolve in order for you to have the ability or have access to them or continued access to them. Because one thing that us young folks are not playing around about is our boundaries, is our comfort, is our peace. So, for example, certain words and phrases you might be thinking, oh, we can't say anything these days. We used to say this back in my day, and that's how we used to refer to people. Let's get it straight. It was never okay. It was always harmful, except now the messaging around that harm that is caused when you say such things, or when people that you know say such things, it's finally getting back to you because people now have the language and the platform or the voice to be able to let you know this is harmful. Do not do this anymore. There will be consequences otherwise. So it's okay to learn from the young people in your life. I highly encourage it. We are so smart and we are, we don't always get everything right. Like, I do believe intergenerational education is a thing, and it is critical to the success or continued of evolution of us as a people and as a society. We don't always get everything right. So that is where you can, put some of your values in there too, but listen to them when they're trying to share about themselves, about the culture that they are trying to change, or what they see, or how they would like the world to be, or just how the world is, and then evolve from there. And if you're having trouble, or if you sense, like, if you feel within yourself that there's some hesitation in that learning and evolution, ask yourself where that's coming from. Ask yourself where the hesitation to learn more and do differently is coming from. Like, is it fear? Is it pride? Is it just uncertainty? Like, figure out what it is and then work through it so that you can continue to be a part of your loved ones' lives, so that you can continue to have access to different people outside of yourself, outside of your immediate family.
Mm-hmm.
Because like I said, we are not playing when we say these boundaries are in place and our peace is most important to us. And if you are disturbing that, if you are causing us harm, more people are talking about their experiences of creating permanent boundaries or barriers to being able to access them. And and the stuff that we can definitely continue to grow and develop on, I would hate to see somebody get cut out of somebody else's life just because you failed to see what you're doing, to see how it's harmful. These young people aren't just on the TikTok is doing nothing. Sometimes they got some points. So it's up to y'all. It's up to us, because I'm now an auntie. I'm auntie status or a burgeoning auntie, to listen. It's up to us to listen. One of my big sisters in sex ed talks about the fact that, and prides herself on the fact that she keeps young people in her corner. And Kirk Franklin does the same thing. That's how he's able to stay so relevant. He's listening to the generations that are coming after them because he knows. Same thing with my big sister in sex ed. She's listening to the stories, the trials, the tribulations, the new language that our young people are coming up with, and how they're looking at and taking in and thinking about the world, and doing a little bit of her own self-analysis. And so I would encourage us all to adopt that model. Is everything gonna move forward with you? Absolutely not, because some of this stuff is trash. And that's okay. It's okay. But when it comes to what you can do or what you can learn from in order to continue to be respectful to other people and how they're living their lives, because it has nothing to do with you, then I would highly suggest that you listen to that. And that's all I got as far as my love letter to the elders.
All right. Well, shout out to the elders. Hopefully y'all are listening, and hopefully you're actually hearing it as well.
Right, because I just said listen to the young people. If you're not listening to what I just said, you already failing at this love letter.
Right. But it's okay. We're going to give grace, and we're going to expect that, the folks who are listening can hear us.
Grace. Yep.
Oh, Lord. Oh, Lord. She's done with the grace. All right. And that's it for the love letter. All right, everybody, welcome to the final segment of this week's episode of the Good Black Podcast, which is our favorite cousin. Yay. If you are new here, again, every episode we will pick something or someone to give flowers to because they made us happy, they made us think, act, or simply because they are Black excellence. And that's all the reason we need, really. All right, so I will go first and let you close, Jade. So my favorite cousin this week, a video essays and cultural commentary YouTube. I just love a video essay, and it's a new thing. I feel like within this last year, and I think I may have mentioned it on the show already, but video essays to me, it's just the best way to get your knowledge up without reading. No shade. You know what I'm saying? Like, the people don't be reading like that, and sometimes I don't always have the time to dedicate to reading a book. However, there are some really, really dope people out there who are doing really, really great critiques and commentary on the world around us in varying ways, in really smart ways, that also include, a little works cited, which I appreciate because I can go and get my citation. I can go and read the information. I can go and get the quote if I so choose to. But sometimes if I just want to have somebody entertaining, talk to me about, an educational or an academic subject, I can get that without necessarily having to sit down and dedicate all the, weeks to a book. That's really deep. So specifically, shout out to on YouTube, T Noir, Julesy, FD Signifier, Khadijah and Bo, Fab Socialism, Kimberly and Foster / for Harriet, and a new one that I just started following is Wine and Chill with Stephanie. She is a former lawyer, and she does law breakdowns on a lot of different things. So she's just doing really, really great videos. But these are all people that I follow, and I think they have really great content. So if any of these people you want to check out, maybe I'll put their names in the show notes.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'll put names in the show notes, and you all can check those people out for yourself. Hopefully, it is entertaining. I love all of these YouTubers. I love YouTube is my social media
because you're old.
just as far as content. Is it? Because I'm old? I do like TikTok. I learn a lot from TikTok, and and all that stuff. But YouTube has the long form videos that I like. I even sit and watch old Tabitha Brown like cooking videos, just let them play in the background while I'm doing stuff. So whatever. But anyway. Yes, video essays are my favorite cousin of the week, and they should be your favorite cousin too.
I too enjoy a good video essay, and I follow some of the people that you mentioned already.
Yeah,
some good conversations.
So, did you see Tinora's video about Beyonce about Renaissance?
No,
you gotta watch it. It's good.
Okay,
it's good. I'll forward
it. Right.
All right. So yes, all right. So Jay, for your favorite cousin this week.
So my favorite cousin for this week. So I have to preface this by saying people used to always say, "Oh, have you seen Cobra Kai? You should watch it. It's a good show." And I was like, "No." I waited till they were 5 seasons in. And of course, the holidays and everything. And so finally watched it. And it is such a good show. However, they don't have enough Black children on the show. So they're not my favorite cousin for this week. My favorite cousin for this week, which is a cousin to Cobra Kai and that universe, which is Karate Kid universe, KKU.
Right. Okay.
Is The Last Dragon.
Ku Klux University.
It's The Last Dragon. It was a roundabout way to say my favorite cousin for this week is The Last Dragon. I love Bruce Leroy. Yes. I've loved Bruce Leroy since I was a wee child. I love that movie. I own that movie now. I love the soundtrack. One year I do need to dress up as Shogun, the Shonuff of Harlem. No, Shonuff, the Shogun of Harlem. I got that backwards. I used to have the biggest crush on Bruce Leroy. Biggest crush.
Really?
Yes.
Even the little...
He was so... Tamar was cute. I don't know what he looks like now. But he was cute back then.
Well.
And I will be your glowing hands. I'll do it for you. So yeah, The Last Dragon, because I love action movies. I mean, I love some action movies. I love certain karate-centric films. And so that one is specifically for me. That is my favorite cousin for the week. Like I said, I love Cobra Kai, but they don't have enough Black children on that show. I need more people to be doing the kicks and the flips and all the stuff. Since they don't, I will go to the OG Last Dragon as my favorite cousin. Shout outs to Cobra Kai.
I'm not mad. Just don't do the acronym again because that was a mistake.
I heard as soon as it escaped my mouth, I said, I don't think they want to be attacked. That's too close. You're too close, man. You're too close.
Leave the people free.
All right.
All right, cool.
All right, fam. That is it for this week's episode of the Good Black Podcast. Do you want to join in on the conversation, or do you have a topic suggestion? Send us your thoughts at goodblackpodcast@gmail.com. That's GOODBLACK podcast@gmail.com. And make sure you support us by liking, subscribing, rating, and sharing this episode and all others across all your favorite platforms. We'll see you next time. Bye.
Peace.